What's going on, everybody? How y'all doing? What's up? Nicholas type. Um, Kicking us off with a little spiritual spark. Get the spirit going. Get my mind right. Pre-game. Uh, this is the Glory Sports. I'm your host, Korrin Wiggins. Shout out to everybody that's supporting our content, our network. Greatly appreciate it. Thank you all for everything that you do. Just for again, support, feedback, just encouraging. Thank the Lord just for this opportunity. Like it's truly appreciative just to be able to be talking, be able to hear from him, be able to, um, I would say, regurgitate what I've read, what he's spoken to me. It's just what I feel like can be encouraging, especially for you all as student athletes here at the Glory Sports. That's what we do with our platform. Give insight in regards to how the faith and Christianity plays in the athletic realm. So that's what we're gonna do on this content. That's what we do here. Um, if you feel like you're a Christian athlete and you feel like you want some support in regards to a community of like-mindedness, like-minded individuals striving and going through the same journey, going through the same type of trials, tribulations, stressors, things of that sort, everything that you're facing in regards to trying to be the best you can be, and trying to still walk in righteousness, still be that image bearer of Christ. This is the platform for you. Um, I'm rocking solo dolo today. Uh, so it's something that, you know, it's going to be me. But other times we have other people joining. I'm checking out, get an insight. If you feel like you want to join, you can go over to forgivingsons.org and submit an inquiry there on our Glory Stories LLC tab. And we'd love to have you. You know, you're a Christian athlete, we'd love to have you. So just wanted to touch base there. But again, spiritual spark, allow the Lord to move in me, speak to me for a second, take a little brief moment, pause, and then just get a little worship in here. So yeah, appreciate y'all. All right. Thank you, Jesus. Thank you. Yeah, man, that song got me in the headlock. I don't know if y'all familiar with it. Paul and Silas by Maverick City. Well, I would say by name of Rain and Chandler Moore. It's not Maverick City. It's Name of Rain, song featuring Chandler Moore. But man, it's a powerful song. I definitely like I said, I've been playing it, Man, about 5 times all day, every day, really. And as athletes, I feel like that's something that we always trying to find something to listen to. And I would say people in general, but mainly athletically, trying to find something that you get hyped to, um, something that your hype music or whatever. But I feel like that is worship is the hypest music of all. Like it's something that you can always listen to it regardless. Um, it's something that get my spirit definitely as hype, as it can be. It's something that I feel like I want to encourage. If you can incorporate more and more of that, like I think the perspective of just what you feel and how you move, like it'll change. The more and more you listen to it, the more and more I listen to it again. This is just me speaking for me, but the more and more I listen to worship, the more and more I want to listen, continue to listen to worship. And then the more and more I want to continue to listen to worship, the more and more I want to dive into what exactly is worship, where is that coming from, where exactly are these verses coming from, who is the Lord more, knowing like what is he expecting me to do. And it's a constant thing. Like it's not something that, you know, every day you just gonna wake up and not want to hear your favorite hip hop song or something like that. But you'll start really um, become breast and keen on lyrics. It may be a situation when you transition from listening to straight hip hop in regards to certain things that they're speaking about, or it ain't just hip hop; it can be R&B as well, or it could be any type of genre. It's mainly what is being spoken into you in regards to what your spirit is receiving. Um, and faith come by hearing. Um, and that is important. So if we can hear the word of God, if we can hear worship, we then in fact build upon our faith and the things that we are going to strive and seek to do. So I just say that to say that's why I start off these pods with a spiritual spark. Shoot, they may flag my Zoom, but it's all good. You know, I don't care. I don't own it. I don't mind saying that this is whoever it is. It's just in us. Like, and I want to get uh, hyped up before the game. Like, I want to do that. So, um, yeah, let's jump into what the Lord put on me today. Again, like being an athlete, it's something that is very time consuming, just like anything else, any goal or anything that you're trying to accomplish. It takes a lot of your time. Like you are so focused on accomplishing what it is, and it can be anything. Any goal that you set your mind to, that's what we want to focus on and seek to accomplish. But in that, like we can't lose sight of who gave us the vision to go and accomplish it, or who gave us, or who's going to give us the path in regards that we should travel to accomplish such goal, right? Those things sometimes get I would say displaced or uh, crossed or misconstrued when we're going because we're thinking that this is kind of our personal goal. This is something that we felt like just came, out of the blue. I got freaking inspired to do it. I got hyped to do it, but everything is from the Lord. So um, I just say that to give context to when we're accomplishing and trying to go and seek and accomplish our goals, we are teetering on the line of being self reliant as opposed to being faith reliant. And that in itself is a line where is, for lack of better words, destructive. And I would say that because we're teetering on that line of destruction because when you become more self reliant, that is more flesh reliant, and that's more uh, devilish and worldly, and that's where we're not supposed to operate if we're Christians, right? Simple and plain. So I say that to say when we're doing things, not just athletes, us and people in general, like a lot of us are headed for disaster. And it's a thing that, again, when you're so focused on it, you don't even really know it, right? We feel what and how we want. We judge according to um, our own ways and not his ways. And again, like this is especially for Christians because in ministry, um, you you got a right to feel how you feel because you're doing the good works. You are, doing those good deeds, but you begin in that. If you don't take a step back, you begin to get consumed in that and you start looking at others and allowing that to portray on others. You start looking at others who aren't, I would say, as spiritually mature as you, and you begin to start judging them and almost active in the sense of the space of where you don't feel like we're after the same grace and forgiveness from the same Father. And when we begin to move that way, we essentially you're tripping because that is where we're all constantly um, at His feet. Like we're all in that constant state of wanting and needing forgiveness and grace. When we feel like or rely on another means of that, um, I would say grace and forgiveness, again, that is where we're in a position of being destructive. Because, again, um, as we go through life and on this journey, we're all going to be tempted with the same sin, right? Like, sin doesn't just come to certain people, sin is going to be presented to us all. Like, we are from sin, our flesh is sin. Um, is constantly a thing that we're tempted with, and the devil is constantly trying to deceive and portray on us. So, in that, we're always in a constant state of needing grace and forgiveness, asking God, like, please just help me. Please, if I fail today and I sin, um, please forgive me. Please show me a way that I don't have to continue to feel like I need to fall here. I don't have to feel like I'm trapped here. I don't have to feel like this is a thing that's consuming me. I need some help. I need you to forgive me. I need that grace. And every time that we continue to have another opportunity, that is the grace. We don't deserve it. It's something that is just coming freely from Him. Every time you have Him make a mistake, He gives you another opportunity to continue to walk. He doesn't just take you out. He doesn't allow the devil to consume you. When you can think new, you can think of another perspective in those times of adversity or in those times that you fall, and that is grace. So constantly through life, every day, currently right now, you're operating out of grace. And then in that comes the forgiveness. So I just say that to say sin is something that each and every one of us, believer, non-believer, is going to be there, right? And if you're looking at me like you think that you're not somebody that is, you're above sin, or you're not somebody that's ever been tempted, or you're not somebody that you feel like you will fall in that, like you're crazy, right? And again, that goes back to the fact of if you had this perspective, I'm here that you are in fact headed for disaster and destruction, right? Because it's a scary place to be when I would say that when you feel that way, like because in that you feel that there's no need for change, or you feel like there's no need or room for growth, and that's one of the worst places to be. Like you should fear the possibility um, of being in a place of not feeling like you need room to grow and not feeling like you need to change. Like we should live with this in mind. Like because when we feel like we need to change, we feel like we need to grow, we feel like we need that grace and that mercy. That is something that we receive and understand that we get from the Lord. So that innately creates a fear for the Lord when we feel that way, because that reverence of Him and that sovereignty of Him is something that we are constantly seeking after, right? These Beatitudes, right? Blessed are the impoverished in the spirit, right? Blessed are the meek. Those types of spirit and those type of hearts is what he's after. And that's the type of heart and spirit that we have to adopt. That in itself creates a fear for the Lord. Like when we constantly move in that, we're constantly operating out of fear for him. We constantly operating out of reverence from him. So when we don't feel like we need to change, when we don't feel like we have room for growth, when we don't feel like we need that grace and mercy, that is a space of disaster. That's a space of vulnerability that is not the kind that the Lord needs. That's the kind that Satan wants. That's the kind that the devil wants. That's the kind that the devil essentially creates by giving us a sense of feeling like we're prideful, right? Because pride won't bring blessings. Pride brings punishment. Like that's what pride brings. Again, pride will not bring you blessings. Pride will bring you punishment, right? Pride brings a fall, right? Destruction, right? Pride go for a fall. That's the word, right? So essentially, where pride is, complacency is as well. So like where complacency lives, pride rests as well. Um, you can't be complacent and not prideful. It just don't. Them jumps don't work. When you may think you can be like, but when you look at the mere definitions of, you know, pride and complacency, right? Like we can take a look at those definitions. Like when you read them, right? Like let's take a moment here. Let me see. I'm gonna read the definition. We can look it up right now. Uh, let's see. Complacent. Y'all probably checking it out yourself. Complacent definition. Let's see what the definition is. Because someone might say like, yeah, I can be complacent, and I'm complacent because I can feel like I'm good where I'm at, but I ain't prideful though. Like just saying that in itself, like you don't even understand that, that's pride. So let's see the definition of complacent. I got complacent, self-satisfied, unbothered, uh, and as well as let's see, showing smug or uncritical satisfaction with oneself or one's achievements. That's a definition as well. And we also have complacent means pleased, especially with one's self or one's merits, advantages, situation, etc. Often without awareness of some potential danger or defect, right? I like that one. Often without awareness of some potential danger or effect. Again, like I've been saying, if you in that space where I feel like I'm cool, I can look at everyone else like, y'all need grace and mercy. I'm gonna pray for you. And I'm constantly doing that, and I'm constantly not looking inward. I'm looking outward. That is in itself a place of destruction. And right here, complacent is saying like often without awareness. Again, like I said, we get so consumed with our goals, get so consumed with playing ball, doing and accomplishing our thing, which is good, working hard, doing all of that. That is great because in James, right, it tells us in that epistle that faith without works is dead. So we do have to work and act upon that faith. However, I would say when we're doing that, sometimes we're without awareness of the potential danger that we're innately creating by focusing solely on that and seeking solely on that. Like I'm focused and locked in just solely on that, where I'm not even considering the potential dangers or harm that I am creating because essentially that can become an idol as well, right? That goal and those things can become idols. And the Lord says, hey, I'm not having nothing about no idols, right? You think about the book of Zechariah. Um, he won't having no idols. So I just say that to say we got to be cognizant of that, right? So that was, definition of complacent. Let me speak to the definition of pride. Let's see that as well. All right, because I said, well, where complacency lives, pride rests as well. I said, you can't be complacent without being prideful. I just feel like I don't believe that they don't go hand in hand. And the definition of pride, let's see. respect and appreciation for oneself and others as members of a group, and especially a marginalized group. Let's see, a feeling of deep pleasure or satisfaction derived from one's own achievements, the achievements of those with whom one is closely associated, or from qualities or possessions that are widely admired. Again, like pride and complacency. Pride here is, again, you kind of hear the similarities, right? Derived from one's own achievements, the achievements of those with closely associated, having pleasure and satisfaction derived from those types of achievements. So, just to reiterate, like where complacency lives, like pride rests also. Um, so if you're living a complacent lifestyle or are complacent with your growth or advancement, you would say, right? You are on the brink of something destructive. Like I mentioned, you better wake up pretty much. Like, and I ain't gonna say pretty much, simple and plain. Just wake up in the sense of understanding this is not where I need to be. Um, because you're in a wandering, um, I would say, type of state. Like you are wandering into a deserted land that essentially is going to be devoured by that roaring lion, right? Because once you wander off, like that's where the devil wants you, because that roaring lion in that moment is just waiting, right? He's waiting to wake up and devour once you get by yourself, because that's where he wants you. Essentially, what I say and I think of it, I think of complacency is like to a roaring lion, meaning to Satan, to the devil. Complacency is bait, right? It's one of the measures of bait. They can have so many, uh, I would say, methods of bait or methods of trying to deceive you. But complacency, it's bait. Complacency is just bait, right? Like it's bait to your fall. It's bait to your hardening of your heart, right? It's bait to spiritual and emotional blindness. It's bait to aggression and anger. It's bait to impatience. All bait to destructive, faithless works. Simple and plain. Because the devil also knows, just as we know, again, like I mentioned in James, faith without works is dead. So if we're faithful, but we're stagnant and complacent with that faith, doing nothing essentially with our faith, in sense, if we're not spreading the gospel, if we're not making moves in faith and love, if we're being, I would say, evil, doing wicked things, trying to be deceitful of ourselves, trying to do anything negatively to affect the expansion and as well as the commission of the kingdom, um, the Lord, I would say, not only does the Lord know, but the devil understands and knows as well that when he's able to do that and to get us in that type of space, the kingdom is steady going to die. Meaning the kingdom, he's pulling more people towards him and not allowing us to be fruitful and multiply and grow the kingdom, which is what the Lord wants. And I heard a pastor on this point preach a sermon one day on how the devil has an odd way of, I would say, always trying to um, take every good thing and changing it, and changing this perspective and meaning for bad, right? So as you see, like tonight is titled like "Complacency Killer" and or "Nothing Can Stop You," right? So this pastor, he took the phrase, "Nothing can stop me," right? Simple and plain. When you think of this, when you think of this phrase, when you think of that, us as athletes, we like, nothing can stop me. Like people say that, and you're thinking about the standpoint of, I face some adversity, I face some conflict. If I can find a way, I'm gonna make a way. Almost like a by any means necessary. I'm gonna do whatever it takes, and I'm gonna keep going. I'm gonna keep pushing. I'm gonna persevere. All of those things, that positive characteristics and or attributes and mind, mental competencies that we as people should have. Like I'm definitely an advocate for that, for being and having that type of mind, that positive self-talk, right? So you take that, nothing can stop me, right? And you keep that and you have that as inspiration, motivation, as well as positivity to keep you going, to keep you, focused on the goal, right? But in the spirit of complacency, in the spirit of the devil being able to be deceitful and being able to take everything, like I mentioned, and change the perspective of something good and have that perspective of something evil and bad and wicked. Um, for every good thing, the devil knows that they're going to try and their team is always going to try and have that equally equivalent evil. So while we're out here using nothing can stop us as fuel and motivation to keep pushing, right? Like heat and to keep going and things like that. The devil finds a way like, they think they're using that phrase, or again, faith comes by hearing and hearing from the word of God. So everything that you're speaking life into, everything that you're hearing, and again, like the music, spiritual spark. So the devil knows that things that you're hearing, when those words are out there, words are powerful, right? The power of life and death lies in the tongue. So he understands that if we're speaking like nothing can stop me in a way of a positive way, he's like, I'm gonna take nothing can stop me. I'm gonna speak in a negative way, right? So when we're in that space of complacency, meaning I feel like I'm good, I feel like I'm able to, look at others and feel like I'm not in need of the same grace and mercy, or we're not in seek and or desperation for the same grace and mercy of the Father. I'm in a place of again complacency. I'm prideful. Then in that space, the devil's like, yeah, let me give them more positive. Let me give them more. I would say what we look at as positivity, meaning let me give them more money. Let me give them more status. Let me give them more resources, and let me give them more opportunities to be able to sit in their place of pride and or complacency, because once they get to a position where they're at the top and they feel like they don't have no more room for growth, they're good. So let me give them that and let them become complacent and stagnant. And at that point, I'll take that nothing can stop me and I turn it in for my good. This is what the devil's saying. Meaning I could turn that into, once I give them more and more of those things, yeah, they will not do nothing, because then they won't rely on God. They'll be in a position where they're relying solely on themselves. Then once that happens, yeah, nothing can stop you, because with that faith from a Christian standpoint, you're doing no work. So it's dead, right? So the kingdom is dying, right? So I'm stopping the kingdom by innately creating more and more pleasures that the people are receiving, when in actuality it's doing harm and destroying the kingdom. So nothing can stop you, right? So when you look at that and think of that in perspective, like you got to always remember, like I'm constantly in a state of desperation for grace and mercy. I'm constantly in a state of understanding, man, I need to continue to grow. I need to become more like Christ. I'm gonna look more inward. I'm gonna look less outward. Like I'm looking at everyone like we're all in the same space in regards to we're all after the Lord, man. We're all seeking and trying to just be better. We want to be better people. Granted, there is wicked and evil out here, but at the end of the day, that's going to be cast out by Him. He's going to take care of it. But understanding that um, as a Christian, guarding your heart, guarding where we have to stand, we have to understand that we constantly have to be in a state of seeking, constantly in a state of at His feet, coming to Him, man, and constantly telling people, letting people understand and witness that we are in that space, right? Because when we don't move with the power of the Holy Spirit within us and get complacent in our own Great Commission work, we do nothing. And when we do nothing, nothing can stop us. There's no love being spread. There's no walking out on faith. There's no servant ministry, serving missionary work going on. There aren't people getting saved. There's none of that. There's just solely just the people where they are, no fruit for multiplication, and the kingdom is dying. It's not growing. Because again, like the devil knows that faith without work is dead. Like if he can get us in a position of hardening our hearts or complacency where we feel like we don't have to do nothing else and not be at the not be the Lord's hands and the Lord's feet and do nothing, then he has won. Because again, nothing has truly stopped us in that regard. So I just close like I want to say, man, just keep all of these things in mind as you go out and live daily, as you go out and go into your practices, as you go out and work out. Just keep this in mind as you seeking and striving to accomplish your goals. That the devil's mission is to bait you, right? To bait us into hardening our hearts and destruction. Simple and plain. um, feeling how we want to feel and doing everything that we feel like we can do on our own. If we focusing just solely on our goals, we're not focusing on the spirit as well as doing things that the Lord has called us to do. We just solely focusing on accomplishing this goal, and not taking time to be at the feet of the Lord and take that moment to take a step back and understand that I can't make this particular thing that I'm focused on become an idol. Then um, when I do that, I'm able to understand that the Lord is the one that is the provider for all of the things that's going on. Because at the end of the day, there are all schemes um, that the devil and the wicked is trying to come up with. He's a deceitful person. Again, trying to take every good thing and find a way to make it uh, and work for the evil. Like, so don't be cool with I would say just doing nothing. Continue keeping pushing forward, spread the gospel, be that light, like be positive, be a good teammate, be a person that people like talking to. You ain't gotta be buddy with all the coaches and stuff like that, or buddy with all your teammates. But just understand, like when they see you, just have a spirit about you that people respect and understand that that person is actually a solid person and they actually trying to do good things. So keep pressing forward. As always, keep the main thing, and I think everything will be all right. So we're gonna transition. That's my uh, you know, tidbit for tonight in regards to the word per se, just encouragement, just to again keep your mind on the right thing and understand that complacency, we want to kill that because when we are in a space of complacency as Christians, we're heading on a road towards destruction. And understand that when we're heading on that road towards destruction, when we become complacent, nothing can stop us. Meaning, therefore, when we're doing nothing and we feel like we don't need God for anything, then we're in a position where the kingdom won't expand because there's no sharing the good news, um, spreading of love, spreading of fellowship, those things that bring love. Where two or more are gathered in His name, He's there. So if we aren't in that space, those spaces together, then He's not there, and the devil understands that. So always just keep that in perspective. As I'm trying to be the best athlete, the best player I can be. Uh, just keep the Lord definitely at the center as well as at the head of your life. And we're gonna again finish with that. We'll jump into quick hits, um, and we're gonna close for the night. So let's see what questions we got. All right, got a few here. All right, I've been asked, what have you changed? Good question. What have you changed? That's a great question. I think we all could ask ourselves that, like, what have you changed? Just in these, I would say, just here recently, I think I've changed like how I thought about um, how my closest people to me um, perceive me. Like, I've changed the way I think about that. Like, I'm very critical in regards to trying to be better at that. Like, you get into, I think we all do get in the sense of like you want everyone else to outside of your home to like respect you and to look at you like you're a good person because that's what when you can build a network of people and everything like that's a way that you can you know, be the witness and the image bearer of the Lord. But we got to be cognizant of like being that same person in our home. And like I've changed the way I thought about it and really trying to make sure that I'm being that image bearer to my girlfriend, to my parents, and my family in the home. Like because they understand you as a person, they know you're a great person, you can have a good heart and everything. And when things come up, you just want to make sure that your physical image persona is the same as your at home image persona, and that's really hard sometimes because you're just so like you're just so accustomed to your family, like it's just like they just know you as family. And, we don't really take the time to really try to make sure that is the ministry is like the entire circle, not just like 95% of it. So I would say that's what I've changed. Just trying to make sure that I'm more patient with like my family. I'm more I would say just cognizant of like how they're responding to certain things that I'm doing. Just trying to do that, and it's a constant thing, especially when you're trying to do something in ministry and trying to push it forward. Like you're so constantly seeking how you can expand the kingdom, but you need to constantly keep um, like just looking inward instead of outward. So I would say that I've changed that. That trying to challenge myself to just be more patient and listen better with my family that's like directly um, in my space, in my home, right here with me. So yeah, I would say that. And how do you second? All right, how do you know you should change? Um, how do you know you should change? I would say that you probably know you should change when you aren't getting the results that you want. When something is seeming like you're trying to do it and it just seems like it ain't right all the time. Like it just seems like it's something that either you're missing or the person you're with or interacting with when they're missing it or when it seems like there's what your desire for whatever the result was, it wasn't it. Something should probably change. You know, with this, how you're thinking, how you're responding, as well as if it's just something you're not supposed to be doing. Like you need to go to God with it. Like it's something that you feel like you should be doing. You know, it's going to work out anyway. But I do feel like if you're not getting the result, something probably should change. I mean, and I say result and how you feel. You know, your spirit can tell you when you are in a space where you should be operating in. Sometimes the outward result, meaning the world may not respond directly and in a timely manner, but your spirit still seems like this is what the Lord is calling me to do because God ain't gonna ever take you away from that. But when your spirit doesn't feel like it's the right thing that you should be doing, and you're not getting the results, then I feel like that's something that you probably should change. When um, you have a desire and it seems like it's just not right, it don't seem like um, there's a difference between seeming like it's not right and challenging. Like there's a difference. Not right and challenging are two totally different feelings that you'll have to learn to discern, which comes from the Lord. So yeah, just because it's challenging don't mean, and I'm not getting a result because it's challenging, it don't mean that uh, it's not right. It's not a spiritual uh, I would say, battle going on there. It's a situation where I personally just have to get up outside of myself and rely on God in regards to have this conversation, go and seek out how to resolve this situation or to find a solution, as opposed to I'm finding and I feel like I'm leaning on doing the right things and that don't still ain't happening. That's a difference. That's not right versus a challenge. So yeah, uh, is all change difficult? No, simple and plain, I say no. I don't think all change is difficult. I do feel like some change does require us again to get outside ourselves, and that can, in fact, feel like it's difficult. But I don't feel like all change is difficult. Um, I do feel like in change, there's opportunity to rely on God and to lean into Him. So I feel like that's always a positive thing, and I feel like as we're constantly growing and changing, it's inevitable. So we constantly should continue to again be seeking after that grace and that mercy, as well as understanding that when we fall, we need that forgiveness from God. We have the same grace and forgiveness that the Lord is pouring out. So I feel like you know when we change or when we feel like we need to change, that's more of an opportunity to go to Him and ask Him, like, what do I need to do? How do I how do I go about doing it? And I feel in those moments when we become intimate with Him, then I mean that's the greatest place in the world to me. So I don't feel like that's difficult at all. But sometimes it can be in regards to what it requires. Because you may have relationship with someone and God is like, this ain't it, but you really want to be with them or something, and you feel like you do, but it's not. Or, you may really want to accomplish this goal. You may want to be the starter. You may want to get out of the situation. You may not like your teammate or whatever the case is. You may really struggle with the class that you're taking. Um, and, you know, you want to uh, figure out something, but it's just like, this just ain't it. You ain't feeling it. And, you know, you'll find a way to go about it. But those things in particular can sometimes be challenging. But again, like in it all, you're able to, you know, pray to God and lean on Him in those times, in those moments. It's all good. We got a few more here. What's the difference between complacency and contentment? That's a good question. Difference between complacency and contentment. I would say complacency is a state of feeling like I am good, I don't need to grow, or I'm just comfortable. I would say that might be the difference. Complacency is like I'm comfortable. Contentment is like I'm joyful and I find I would say praise. I'm able to praise and I'm happy with this particular moment. Complacency is like I'm comfortable in this moment. Contentment is like I find joy in this moment. And I feel like those are differences. Like with complacency, if I'm comfortable, wherever I'm comfortable, that's a state of like I feel like I don't need to grow in that area. So I can be mediocre in a lot of areas, and I feel like I'm good. I'm complacent. I'm solid. And in those moments, that's where I feel like I don't need to grow nowhere, and I feel like I'm good spiritually. I feel like I don't need to. Again, like we've been talking about, nothing can stop me. So I'm in a place of I'm comfortable. So when I'm comfortable, I'm good. Like I ain't got to do nothing else. Especially in ministry, that is a very disastrous as well as destructive place to be in. You need to continue to push that gospel. You need to continue to go out there and spread it. You need to continue to go out there and let your teammates see, like, hey man, even when they're facing this, even when they're going through whatever, they're still the same person. Like, they ain't, they real about what they got going on. They ain't out here faking. You go and talk to them, they'll tell you the straight up truth. And yeah, like so complacency, when I'm complacent, I feel like I'm good. Contentment is like, I accomplished this thing, I found joy in it, I'm good. And I'm a definitely I would say appreciate it, take it all in. But then I realize and understand like this is contentment, like this is just a moment, and I find contentment understanding like that's more of a relationship with the Lord to me. Like that's a space of again that sovereignty that I was speaking about. I find that sovereignty from the Lord, understanding like I'm content, like thank you Lord with like what you've done, like man, I'm so happy, like because where joy is, the Lord is, right? Um, I heard someone use the acronym one point that joy stands for Jesus on you. So if you have joy, like you have that spirit, and Jesus is with you, He's on you. So you have a different type of I would say posture in regards to how you look at your circumstance as opposed to complacency. I'm comfortable with my circumstance. Contentment is I am critical about my circumstance. I am compassionate about my circumstance, and I think that's the difference. And lastly, if it's not broke, why fix it? Well, that's a great question. What we talked about. If it's not broke, why fix it? I guess you're saying because of the complacency. Um, if it's not broke, why fix it? Well, I mean, depending on what it is, like if it's not broke, again, like what we were speaking about, like if you're complacent, uh, you comfortable. So I mean, that's a question I think you gotta ask yourself because yeah, if it's not broke, why should you fix it? You tell me why you should fix it. And every time we ask that question, that's what the devil, that's what that roaring lion I was saying, he's waiting for you to do. Because once you start saying that, once I'm in this, shit, why fix it? Like I'm good. Nothing can stop me. Nothing can stop me. He got you. And again, like that's the worst mindset. That's a bad perspective. That's a destructive and disastrous line to be teetering. And I'm here to tell you, jump off of it. Understand, like when you get that, go get some work in. And you be like, shoot, what I'm gonna do? Go get some work in, read a book, listen to some praise, listen to some worship, listen to your podcast, shoot, replay this, and let me encourage you. Nah, get that out your head. Like you playing with you, right? So if it's not broke, why fix it? Um, it's a great question, but it's a dangerous question too, right? Like some things that you can do a lot of things really good, but you can find a way to do them better, right? Good, better, best, never rest. To my good is my better, my better is my best. Like that's a whole riddle and poem. I'm pretty sure a lot of people are familiar with, but it's not kind of true, and it's very true. You can always be better, and when I say like you can be doing something really good, you can master it, but um, if you're not at the feet of the Lord, man, like again, like we said, we get in this position of feeling like we ain't needing that grace, or we're not constantly after and seeking that forgiveness and um, that mercy. That's a dangerous spot to be in. We headed for destruction. So keep that in mind. Go out there, accomplish that work today. Get it in. Understand that you got a community of people here at the Glory Sports supporting you. Go to forgivingsons.org. Love to connect with you. Love to support you through your journey, as well as become a forgiving one. Subscribe to our channel. Understand that we definitely love and want to support your journey. And have you on here. See you next time. Stay safe. This is the Glory Sports. Boy Korrin. See y'all next time. Peace.